Como ça va, everybody? And welcome to the Caffeinated Coordinators podcast, where we are brewing up a scheme. I am Coach G, Coach Gaspard, and joining me from across the line of scrimmage, the king of man coverage. He takes life with a grain of salt and a few adult drinks. He doesn't have an attitude problem, you just have a perception problem. And pictures of scout cards hang on his fridge. Scott Pellegrin.
Very good.
A grain of salt and a couple of limes. Don't forget that, Coach. Oh, man. Yes, I am Coach Scott Pellegrin. Coach G did the intro because I think it was time for him to roast me a little bit.
I've been, brewing one up.
And it's all blind, too. So every week when I do it to you, I just kind of wing it.
Yeah.
And try to get you a live reaction. And then joining us, the third man in the booth, he is the freshman football jack of all trades, the godfather of EA TV, and the voice of the playoff-bound Spartans.
It's game day.
Coach Eric Brownfield.
Thank you. It is game day. Man, it's the first playoff game at home in 12 years.
It's
My first playoff game announcing in baseball. It's impressive. It is very humbling, and it is. We're gonna have some fun tonight. I think we got some stuff coming.
First time since the Spartans are top 16 since 2008. It's the first time we host a first-round playoff game.
It was my first baseball season in the EA.
Yeah.
I remember it very well. Some great guys on that team.
It's gonna be a bittersweet day for me. My head coach, or my quarterback coach and assistant baseball coach in high school, is Sulphur's head coach.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm ready
awesome.
to freaking
just give it.
They're gonna get every bit of the EA sport.
That's one of the cool things about coaching, man, is when you see old coaches that coached you or old colleagues across the field from you. That's always a fun experience.
It is.
But man, playoff baseball, they changed the format the last couple of years.
Round of 3 now.
It's not just second and third round. You gotta have a deep pitching roster. You gotta have one from jump.
Yep.
So
and then next year it's every semis and finals as well.
I think that's the way it should be.
I agree.
I mean, it's a lot more baseball if you're gonna go to distance, but to me, that's a more fair way for baseball to crown a champion.
I agree. You played all these games to get here, and now you're just playing one game. Like, what if because now your ace won't be able to pitch the semis or the championship. It's going to be either or.
It's going to put a little more strategy in there, and I think it might level off the playing field a little bit because, like you said, the quick turnaround time, your ace can't pitch every series.
Look at Paul Skeens at LSU. Like they were scratching to get him back on the mound.
Yeah.
And then you might see a guy come in relief who wouldn't normally come in relief, a la the too young for you, or too old for you, but the 01 Diamondbacks. I think either sent Randy Johnson or Kurt Schilling in relief in Game 7.
Yeah.
To close out the game, and they won co-MVPs, and they were one's a Hall of Famer, one should be a Hall of Famer if he keeps his mouth shut. And they won the World Series that way. So yeah, some interesting pitching decisions when they go to a full 5-round series. That's gonna be awesome.
We ready?
I'm ready, man. What do we?
We got the game, man.
The game.
It's the game.
And full disclosure, the game's gonna take up a chunk of this episode. So
it will.
If you're not into this banter, then I ain't got nothing for you. But this is awesome.
This is fun.
Awesome.
So, NFL draft starts next week, and in honor of that, we're gonna draft.
I love the draft.
Something.
Even if I don't know players, I love the NFL draft.
It's a fun time.
It's like how people watch golf or watch NASCAR, where it's like you're not watching every second of it because it's a long day and it could get a little boring at times. But man, it's so good to start off excited, take you a little nap, and then come back in and just see some of your favorite players or some names you recognize from college get drafted, because a lot of even like the top of the line SEC talent, a lot of those guys go in 5, 6, 7 round,
And obviously watch to see who your team drafts.
That's right.
So we're gonna draft.
Don't screw it up, Dennis.
Fictional football players.
Love it.
3 rounds. We'll snake draft it.
3-round snake draft. I like
That's
that, Coach.
that's each of 3 picks, and then if we have other people on our list at the end, we can do undrafted free agents.
I kind of want some Mel Kiper analysis too.
Ooh.
I kind of want a little analysis.
Like why you drafted him?
I do.
Or,
I
okay.
do.
Okay.
I do.
like right after, like I'm drafting him because this.
Give us a little analysis.
I think all teams should have to do that. Maybe like you draft somebody. Look, especially you get like in the third round. Give your fans something there. Like,
yeah. Why are we drafting him?
Right.
Like, well,
he's a possession receiver.
Yeah.
I picked Billy Bob from Varsity Blues because, man, he won that game of quarters like a champ in the movie. He just plays it like a.
And if that's what's important to you, then hey, I mean, let's just be transparent here.
A 10.
A 10. We can't finish that line. We'll get censored.
Yeah. All right. Who's going first?
I think you should.
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot.
This is your brainchild. So with the first selection in the Caffeinated Coordinators fictional character draft, Coach G selects.
All right. I'm going to do it. I'm going Tim Riggins from Friday Night Lights, the series running back.
Awesome.
The reason being is because you don't have those types of kids anymore. There's just like hard-nosed, like don't really give a crap what goes on around them. Like they just want to play football, and then everything else behind them doesn't matter. They live for the moment right now, nothing else. And he's Texas forever, but at the same time, Louisiana's not too far, so I think he can come to Louisiana and still be a part of Texas forever.
I love it.
Wow, that was very poignant.
That was deep. Brownfield.
That's one of my favorites. I watch it every football season.
Who's your first selection?
So my first selection, I gotta remember. Okay, all right, I'm going. And I'm always the first person in my fantasy league to draft a kicker. So I figured, you know what, special teams is people always talk about how important it is, but nobody really ever puts real meat behind that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going kicker Lucy Draper of Texas State from Unnecessary Roughness.
Wow.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't say my kicker.
There's some
getting mad.
Well,
there's some great kickers out there.
There is.
Well, there's a lot of great kickers. My Mel Kiper analysis here. There's a lot of great kickers on the board, man. Nigel Gruff out of Wales, right, from the replacements.
Ray Finkel.
Yeah, there's a lot of good kickers out there, man. I thought we was going the gambling addict himself from the UK, but no. So.
Well, I think Lucy's a little easier on the eyes than Nigel, and that's the part,
You probably don't
got to look good, feel good, play good, right, Coach G?
Yeah.
You don't want your kicker smoking cigs while he's about to go make a big time kick.
Right. I need somebody focused, and women can focus in just a way that
we got a little heat on that, by the way. The look good, feel good, play good.
We did.
I want to justify.
Please.
I'm talking more on accessories.
Right.
Like the uniform's the uniform.
Yes.
Accessories, the eye black, the sleeves, like you would say.
There's a
the
limit.
The chains, all of that. All right.
I agree. So, the most important position on the field is the quarterback, and I feel like that's been a gross oversight in the first round of this fictional player draft.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
So and there's a lot of great quarterbacks still on the board. You got Lance Harbor, you got John Moxon, you got Steeman Willie Beeman, but I'm gonna go with Shane Falco out of Ohio State from the replacements.
That was gonna be my first pick, but
because and Shane struggled with a bit of a confidence issue a little bit when he first got into the pros, and then he got cut, and then he got picked up again in the replacement staff. But I really feel like if that movie would make a sequel, Falco would have made one years ago when he was still young enough to look the part. I think Falco would have gotten picked up at least to be a backup quarterback in the league. So I think he proved himself in those 4 games, especially with the comeback the second half at Dallas. So I'm going Falco out of Ohio State. That Sugar Bowl game doesn't scare me. He proved himself in the league 4 games in that replacement season. I'm signing it, 100%.
No, it's hard to argue with that. It really is.
I also watch the replacements in Varsity Blues before every fall camp starts.
Yeah. So you got another pick, man. Snake draft.
Snake draft. Okay, so I'm gonna beef up the backfield here because I believe in running the rock. So to compliment Shane Falco at quarterback, I'm going Wendell Brown out of Grambling State and West Canaan High School from Varsity Blues. Okay,
All right.
He didn't get a whole lot of love there that season, but he really carried that team. He was the unsung hero. Didn't have a lot of touchdowns, but had a ton of yards, and eventually got a scholarship to Grambling out of West Canaan. He wasn't a big partier like the rest of the guys in that movie. His head screwed on a little straighter, so I'm gonna draft him for my team and give Falco a good solid running game. So
I like it.
Okay. All right.
Ralphie?
So, all right. You peer pressured me into a quarterback here, and
Go
I would love to stay Texas State here because Scott Bakula's Paul Blake was just like classic old guy quarterback. Back before you actually had 35-year-olds playing high school college football like you do now. But I got to go a little deeper. This is going to be too old for all of you guys, but going back to 1986's The Best of Times, going with Kurt Russell's Reno Hightower.
ooh,
Kurt Russell
Okay.
played quarterback?
Oh man, yeah, and his receiver was you're not going to believe this. So I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
What?
say
Say it.
It was Robin Williams was his receiver.
Robin Williams.
Really?
No.
Yes.
What?
The Best of Times,
No.
1986. The white shoes, man. You gotta YouTube the white shoes.
The white shoes.
The Best of Times. I'm
Wow.
telling you, it is. Yeah. Just you got to go. You just got to go watch it.
Ooh,
Dang.
Yeah, Reno Hightower, man. Kurt Russell. Yeah, some good stuff.
Interesting.
Gritty, not the most, not the greatest arm, not a dual threat guy really, but
Yeah.
gritty.
My my dad was in a movie with Kurt Russell and Elizabeth Shue and Dakota Fanning. Dreamer?
Oh, yeah.
They filmed
yeah.
some of it at Evangeline Downs when he worked on the gates, and so he got to be in a few like little action shots.
Oh, that's cool. That's
But-
cool.
All right, for my second pick, I already got a running back. I guess I'll grab a quarterback since I'll be the last one. I got to do it. I'm going Adam Sandler, Paul Crewe from
Paul
The Longest
Crewe.
Yard. I just, yeah, he took the money, but like, we can give you a lot more money here, Paul, and it's not under the table.
Yeah.
And you don't have to blow the games, and we're gonna try to win.
And he really proved himself. He really proved himself in the prison game.
He did.
Yeah, no.
And he was loyal.
Yeah. It's,
For a second, he wasn't, but
as the movie's main protagonist, he kind of was the anti-hero until he became like the true blue
Yeah.
hero of the movie when he finally admitted to shaving those points.
yeah,
That really, I know it was a remake, but that movie was a huge deal in 2005 when it came out. I was a freshman in high school, I remember, and very huge deal. Like everybody loved it. But I was looking at, I was actually the movie I just pulled up on my phone. The ensemble cast, they call it. The amount of famous people,
oh my goodness, Stone
famous
Cold,
actors.
Nelly, Michael Irvin.
I would say Bill Romanowski, Michael Irvin, Tracy Morgan, Goldberg, Terry Crews, Bob Sapp, Burt Reynolds, Nelly, Chris Rock. I mean, it was just loaded with talent.
It's like every
was.
scene. Every
Yeah.
time somebody did something, they'd take the helmet off, or they're like, "Whoa, wait a
Yeah,
second."
And the comedic timing, and the comedic timing of all of them, because
yes.
they're not all comedians.
No.
Right.
The NFL players, not really actors per se. The wrestlers, okay, they have some timing because that's kind of what they is, show business. But like Dan Patrick was hilarious as the cop in that movie, and he only
Yeah.
had a couple of scenes.
Yeah,
It was awesome, great movie, great sports movie.
I enjoyed it, and I had another quarterback. He'll be an undrafted free agent for me, but I'm gonna take the first defensive person for my third pick, my third and final pick.
Oh wow,
I'm going Vontae Mack, draft day, from Ohio State University.
Vontae Mack, good choice.
Yeah, so that's a really good movie. I really enjoy the movie, and Vontae Mack kind of has some like arrogance to him, but at the same time as linebacker, like he reminds me a lot of like a Ray Lewis
He has some
type of player.
some stuff to him
Yes, yeah.
to keep it PG.
But the kid can play, man. I would have taken him over Bo Callahan myself. So
Well, talking about that movie too. I know I'm all great movies. I love sports movies.
Yes.
So, Kevin Costner.
mm-hmm.
Can we talk about that performance as the GM and the closing scene where he gets the draft picks back.
Yeah.
You know, makes the coach happy. You know, gets the girl, tells the owner to go fly a kite.
Yeah.
Like, great scene. Great scene.
How do you say it? He was like, "Will y'all just let me do my job?" And he was like, "Now, is this a team you would like to coach?" And
they're like, "You're crazy." He's like, "Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Watch what I'm about to do now."
Yeah.
Brownfield, who's your third pick?
Okay, I'm gonna go real quick here because I got to get our chicken biscuits from the door here.
Oh.
Little Teacher Appreciation Week delivery
Yeah,
here from
yeah,
Coach
I like
Murph. All right, so it is Serrano from Major League. I'm going cross sport. I'm going to bring him in. He's going to be a defensive end.
Oh.
Wow.
Y'all have fun.
Okay.
Y'all have
Wow.
fun. He's bringing Jobu. Y'all have fun with that one.
My.
I'm going to take a little flyer there.
Wow.
That's like a Jimmy Graham type pick right
Yeah,
there. Like,
yeah. Y'all think about it for a second
man.
while I get your biscuits.
Took him right off the diamond, man.
Oh my goodness.
So this is what I'm going with. I'm going to keep the longest yard here. I'm going to go defensive player. There's a lot of good defensive players out there, man. There's Luther Sharp LeVay from Any Given Sunday.
Yeah.
There is a couple great defensive linemen, but I'm going to go with Joey Battleagio from The Longest Yard, the character Goldberg.
Goldberg. Okay.
He wore the X on his jersey.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
So I'm gonna pick him as the linebacker and the captain of the defense.
I like it.
Yes,
Oh, man,
indeed.
that wasn't a bad draft right there. But
Man.
let's go with our undrafted free agents.
By the way, Coach Murphy here has secured.
Shout
the
out
bag.
Coach Murph. Oh, by the way, shout out Gaspar's Cajun Heat and River Rose Cafe from French Rose from Big River.
Absolutely.
All right, undrafted free agents on my list. First one, Becky the Icebox O'Shea, Little Giants.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes.
The icebox.
Yes. Joe Kingman from The Game Plan. Ray Finkel, Ace Ventura. Spencer James, All-American. And Thad Castle from Blue Mountain State.
Oh wow.
I forgot all about Blue Mountain State.
Yeah. No, that's my undrafted free
I
agents,
just
man.
want to say that was a staple in college.
It was.
We would.
Oh my goodness.
So in the fraternity life, we'd play intramurals on a particular day of the week. We'd come home and watch Blue Mountain State, and it was like a Tuesday. Like it was.
Yeah.
What a life! What a life! No
good old
responsibilities.
days,
Like
The cookie run.
now, look, oh Jesus, that's disgusting. But like, I don't miss being broke, but just the lack of things to do was kind of cool.
And
Yeah.
Thad Castle plays a hell of a reacher. If you never watched it yet.
Oh yeah, he's actually a really good actor.
He's like, it's an unbelievable.
He's actually a really good actor. I don't
series.
know his real name, but
I forget. I should know.
Brownfield, you got a couple good undrafted guys?
Yeah, just a couple of guys I really wanted to take, and a couple of them, and there's a common theme between these two guys. There's Featherstone from Unnecessary Roughness, who was Paul Blake's receiver, who was like an all-American who just couldn't catch anything, right? And he would always get open, and he would drop everything, and then in the big game, the big moment, he finally makes the catch, and Jack Dundee, who was Reno Hightower's, who was Robin Williams in The Best of Times, same thing. Like, and The Best of Times is actually a movie where they're replaying a high school. It's a reunion game,
Yeah.
right? And the game was in '72, and I guess this is like '82 or whatever, and they all come back together, and Dundee dropped the game-winning pass in that game, and it ended in a tie.
Dang.
So that's why they were playing the reunion game to like finally, all right, we're going to see who wins this thing once and for all. So, like redemption, I think redemption's a great story in sports movies, and those two guys were just like stone hands, just can't catch anything, and then when it mattered the most, they came through.
So, a couple of mine, and there's a pattern here because there's certain movies I just love the most. But so I'm gonna go some quarterbacks. Lance Harbor from Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
Jonathan Moxon, Varsity Blues. You gotta love the intelligence there. He's going to Brown University, man. Also, Nigel Gruff, the kicker from the replacements. Again, I mentioned Luther.
Cigarette.
Yeah, I mentioned Luther, the linebacker played by Lawrence Taylor on Any Given Sunday. But you also got Steamin' Willie Beeman from Any Given Sunday.
I'm kind of upset nobody said Bobby Boucher.
Well, you got Bobby Boucher.
Oh, man.
You know?
Yeah.
And look, I wouldn't draft nobody from that team. That team was god awful.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Terrible.
Especially not Guy, the quarterback. That dude was garbage.
Oh.
Like, I hope he's smart and got a good degree. But
Y'all got a coach in mind?
so
Who's gonna coach this team?
Oh, my God.
well, real quick. So we was talking about longest yard.
Yeah.
Nelly, the running back.
Yeah.
Michael Irvin, the receiver.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger Eddie. You also got the deaf guy from the replacements who was a great player. But coach, Tony D'Amato from Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday.
Played by Al Pacino. One of the best monologues, locker room speeches. It's 4 minutes and like 31 seconds. I've watched and I could probably recite it to you. In probably movie history.
Yeah. Incredibly celebrated there.
It's
That
the
is a
6 inches
huge-
in front of your face. I can't make you do it. Oh, I'm getting juice. God, I'm getting juice.
Man, I've only seen that movie once, and it's been forever.
I've seen that clip about 100 times. I've seen the movie probably 3 or 4.
Man. All right, so my coach would be Coach Ed Gennaro from Unnecessary Roughness, played by Hector Elizondo. So he had a little edge to him there, you know, but he was like, you have to look him up. You know him. If you don't know him, you'd know him as soon as you saw his face. Like he's been in all over movies. But yeah, he was like gruff enough, but then kind of had a little, soft side to him. Typical, TV coach. But yeah, he was really cool.
I like it. I got Eric Taylor. Friday Night Lights. Played by Kyle Chandler, another great actor.
Yeah, he's a really good actor.
No, Coach Taylor is he's a family man, and I like that with coaches because there's some coaches out there that like will avoid their families, and that we're not in it for that. Like we're trying to teach these young men how to become good fathers, good husbands. So I think Coach Eric Taylor's a good role model.
I was gonna say, like, if you really, and we might be able to transition here, but if you really believe in teaching the off the field lessons that are required from any coach, and you are grossly inefficient enough to where your family takes that much of a backseat during the season, you're a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we all haven't been guilty of it from time to time. It's
yeah.
one of those mistakes everybody makes, but
Right.
you got to be aware enough to understand that. Okay, well, I'm slacking here. I need to get back on track.
Yeah.
And, you ain't winning a whole lot of games at 10 o'clock at night in the coach's office. That, your best work is probably not done at that time of the night. That's just how it is. But another linebacker, Danny Bateman, from the replacements.
That was the cop.
The cop.
Yeah,
That's
the
right.
cop.
The cop.
I just see red like a boo.
I got you the ball. You give me the ball. I got you the ball. All right, go sit down now, Danny. Okay.
There's some and we left out some movies because of like the true stories and people like the I can't think of it now.
Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
There was the other one. The real Friday Night Lights.
Oh,
like
the movie.
Booby Miles.
Dessa Perriman.
So.
Man, I love sports movies. But like, so, let me ask you this now. I mean, gotta give an answer. No doubt. Top 3 football movies in your mind. Go.
Can it be a series too? Or it has to be a movie?
I know you love Friday Night Lights.
I do.
Fine.
Yeah, that's in my top 3.
Okay.
Football.
On the spot.
I do like Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
I think Varsity Blues, Friday Night Lights, and everybody says like Remember the Titans is so cliche, and I really like the movie, but to keep it off, I'm gonna go the Replacements. I like the Replacements.
Okay. Brownfield?
I'm gonna say the original Longest Yard.
Ooh.
with Burt Reynolds.
With Burt Reynolds as Paul
who
Crewe.
was a college quarterback at Florida
Yeah.
State. I'm gonna go with Remember the Titans. I'm a history buff, and it's a classic.
I love the movie.
It's great. It's great, and a lot of people who aren't real football fans love the movie.
I can recite a lot of it.
Yeah, it's a great story, a true story, and it's wonderful. And my number one would actually be Radio, starring Ed Harris.
Oh, man.
And Cuba Gooding Jr.
Radio.
puts in an incredible performance. And that, when you're talking about Family Man, and you're talking about things that are a little more important than the game itself. And Radio was what came to my mind.
I forgot about Radio.
Yeah, I forgot about it too until you said that. It popped into my head like, that's the one that reminds me of that.
I've only ever seen that movie one time, but the quote I remember, and this is long before I became a football coach, but the coach, when he resigns, he says, "Ain't nothing like a Friday night looking for a win and a Saturday morning when you found one."
Yeah. He was in
That's a great line.
He was in the barber shop when he said that.
Yep. It's classic.
Rudy's another good one.
Rudy's a good one.
Of course.
Another cool movie quote from Remember the Titans is when Coach Boone's he's in the community in the street, and they're all around him. They're like, "Coach, you are a savior." He's like, "I'm not Jesus Christ, the Easter Bunny, or whoever. I'm just a football coach." That's another cool
You
line.
are Coach.
But you're our coach. Yeah.
They start clapping.
Yeah. And that was cool. That's a great line.
Another one, man. From the Remember the Titans. Whenever they win the semifinal game or whatever, and he gets home and his daughter's like, "Daddy, I cleaned off the table so you can get right to work." And he was like, "I got some news for you. I ain't working tonight."
We ain't working tonight.
So that was pretty cool, too.
And then a more comical one from The Waterboy. They're all sitting in the locker room halftime of the Bourbon Bowl, and Henry Winkler's character. Anybody got an idea? And I feel like every coach has been there. It's like maybe not quite that disheveled in front of the team, but like I think every coach has been like, "Anybody got an idea?"
How about that time that Bobby Bush did?
I think a lot more
halftime in the Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl, do you? Good morning, tackled that guy. Louisville threw him into the stands. That was pretty funny.
And I think every coach has felt like Coach Klein.
Yes.
But you don't show it, but on the inside, I think there are a lot of Coach Kleins on the inside in a lot of big moments, but you can't let the kids see that.
You can't let the kids see that, but man, I know there's a few times I'm thinking to myself, hope somebody's got an idea when we get in that locker room. It's just inevitable because everybody's been on the good side of the butt whooping, and everybody's been on the wrong side of the butt whooping.
Yes.
And if you haven't, then God bless you, because it's kind of like what they say about coaches. There's there's two kinds of coaches: those who have been fired and those who ain't been fired yet.
Yeah.
And so I love those football cliches and that sort of thing, man.
It for the most part, like football movies show you like a little bit of football and like life out of football.
Yeah, there's some lessons in there.
But at the same time, like they throw in those few lessons from the coach.
Yeah.
To make sure they know, like, okay, that is the coach. Like, there's something they might say, something they might do.
And another we talk about family and like that Al Pacino dialogue from Any Given Sunday. Part of it is like he starts off, "I don't know what to say really, 15 minutes to the biggest battle of your lives," and he's like, "I made every wrong choice a middle-aged man could make," and he's like, "I chased off everybody who ever loved me, I pissed away all my money, I can't stand the guy I see in the mirror," like he, like that's real, what I mean? I'm sure some coaches feel that way, and like the only thing going right in life is this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really cool, I don't know if it's a lesson, but that you got to know somebody somewhere identifies with that.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Man.
And it's like the draft took almost the entire time.
It did.
I know. I like these fun episodes, man,
It
especially
is.
right now.
Yeah.
But I'm still getting compliments on the podcast. We went to the LSU clinic a couple weeks back, and a couple of area coaches who see the clips on TikTok, which I've been terrible at posting, by the way, the last few episodes. But people are fans, man. People are fans. They hear us talk. I think they hear the realness in what we're saying, and this is the kind of stuff that obviously we have a little bit of a platform, and we post it out there for people to see. So we're not trying to hide anything. We're not trying to hide our opinions, but We are, believe it or not, the real people behind this. Like we really think this. We really, like, you know what I mean. This is real thoughts. This ain't just something that we're like, hey, nobody's gonna see this. We're gonna say what we really think.
No.
And then, no, this is legit. What you see is what you get, especially with us.
Every
Especially
now,
me and you.
yeah, and I'll get comments on TikTok when I post the clips, and sometimes it's somebody disagreeing, which is great. Like, we don't do this to say like we're right. Like, we do this like we've always said. This is a locker room talk. Like, we're just hitting record on something we talk about in the coach's office whenever there's some downtime.
And the biggest thing too is this type of stuff and the topics we cover. And like I said, today was a little more fun, but
Yeah.
I think if there's any lessons to be learned from the 10 or 12 episodes we've done, is these things are things that the average coach has to think about. Whether you want to move up, whether you don't want to move up, whether you want to be a coordinator, whether you want to be a head coach, whether you want to give it up altogether. But some of these topics, very, very real. Like, whether the early episodes of the logistics of planning practice, or planning or tagging film, teaching,
how to watch film,
navigating the fun stuff, quote unquote fun stuff on campus, and the pomp and circumstance that some schools have and some schools don't. A lot of schools don't have
distractions with dirt,
right? And a lot of schools don't have that, and a lot of coaches don't like distractions, so they would love those schools. A lot of coaches appreciate what it does for the kids, and there's everywhere in between.
Man.
It is.
Like you always say, high school is like the fun 4 years. Like it's gonna fly by. Before you know it, you'll be a senior graduating. Like, enjoy it. Well, like, have something to enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, we over here we preach, because there's a lot of school spirit here, but we gotta preach it to make sure it stays there. It's like, don't just sit in a desk for 8 hours and then go home. Like, find something to do extracurricular. Like, get involved with the club or something, because like there's more to high school than just sitting down and reading a book or looking on a screen.
And there ain't no doubt, man. And we talked about time, like how to time out your week, how to it. And like I said, I talked about going on head coach interviews and that type of thing. And, I think one of the big decisions you got to make when you ascend to that chair is, and we talked about it last week, and I want to have a full episode on it. How do you limit burnout? How do you limit burnout? Because it's a long season, and it's a long summer, and guys got families, and guys got responsibilities, and you don't get paid $1 million to be away from home. It's a little easier when it might be a little easier when that's the case, but we get paid, $60K to be away from home.
Yeah.
So,
right.
But man, let's wrap this up and
let's get to the list.
Let's get to the list, man.
All right. I got a good one, and it's my list is y'all. Y'all make the list. The caffeinated coordinators. We've always been friends. Coaches are always friends, but at the same time, like, we've done something that a lot of people are scared to do, and get in front of a mic and talk.
Yeah.
So I love what we do. I enjoy this. So the caffeinated coordinators make the list.
You said you wouldn't get sentimental.
Just make the list. Like, y'all this was gonna be my list anyway.
What does it say? Oh man. Coach G, God dog it. All right, so here I'll shift things a little bit here. My list is oh man, I just had it, and I was my list is it's college football in general, the NCAA, the organizing and governing body of college football.
Oh.
Because this is like this week they codified the unlimited transfer, which they had to by Supreme Court dictate. So it's not like they had a choice. But we are now in like full Wild West mode. Unlimited transfer. NIL still has no
It's not
universal
good, man.
regulations. Like, so we're in a, and they're okay with it because they're calling it a transition period into whatever they're moving into next, which apparently will be much more regimented and sort of like the fenced in version of all this. But they don't have that yet. So for a year or two or more, we're going to have just absolute craziness. And you have kids who are in high school right now. That's going to be the college athletics world they go into.
Yeah.
And and it might be 3 years down the road we have a better system and it gets voted on, and 4 years from now it's implemented. But they're already out of school at that time. So like they're going into a college football landscape that is completely unsettled and nobody really knows how to handle it and how to manage it. And I just think it's a shame that we've blown up something that wasn't perfect, which is why we blew it up. It wasn't perfect. But you can't let perfect be the enemy of the good, And I feel like there were a few things we could have done, and instead now we've blown up the whole thing, and I'm afraid it's going to negatively impact a whole bunch of kids who are heading up into college in the next few years, and I hate that.
Yeah, and the argument always was, well, coaches could leave, why can't players? You know what? Fine. Your one-time transfer, I feel like placated that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think
But I think like you can't draw a parallel with every subordinate to every authority. It's not, well, he gets to do it, I get to do it. The entire world does not work that way. There are certain privileges that come with ascending to that role, whether it's in the corporate world or it's the football world. Like, it's not like, well, he gets to leave, I get to leave. Well, that's ridiculous.
And I think it's like just bad timing.
Yeah.
Because like you're implementing too many things at once. Because now we got a new playoff system with all these different teams. Now you're allowing all these kids to move around. Like, is there still going to be a super team?
Well, in the high school, in the trickle down. So, my list to piggyback off of that is the trickle down effect it has to high school.
Yeah.
The legislators who are trying to make a name for themselves and trying to be Mr. Proactive, and we're going to implement unlimited transfers in the high schools now, and we're going to that one has nothing to do with the other. One, there's a lot of things, we say it all the time on this show, there's a lot of things that trickle down that are good and are good practice. Not everything can trickle down. Why is the world so this or that, yes, no, black and white? The world is governed by gray area. Like, we need to be smart enough to sit down and say, hey, this is a good thing that's happening for the kids and for the game. This is not something we need to let bleed into the lower levels, such as not just transfers, but such as the rule changes in the NFL, where it's a television show.
Mm-hmm.
You want 50 points a game. The point is, there's got to be there's got to be some gray area here where some people with common sense sit down and say, you know what, this is what's good for the game. But instead, like everything else in the world, it's a political grab, and those people make the list.
I agree. Right.
Agreed.
So, we're going to take us home, man. I think it's time for the gong, time for this biscuit,
Refill.
time for a refill.
Shout out Teachers Appreciation to all the teachers out there. Thank y'all for what y'all do.
EA's a good place, man. All the teachers, all the coaches, all the employees of schools that do their thing. Scott Impel on the socials, Coach G, Tyler Gaspard, Eric Brownfield, and we have to go to class.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Deuces.